scammers that I went through. Um, yeah, I've been scammed many times, but this particular one was an email that I got because I was looking. I had signed up for jobs, right? So they would send me emails on different jobs, and one of the jobs said paid initiative to drive by Budweiser. Well, I'm not a Budweiser fan. I don't even drink beer, but the deal was that they would pay you 400 a week to put decals on your car to advertise for Budweiser. Well, maybe many of you think, "Oh, that's a scam." You immediately thought that. But sometimes, I don't know. I just wanted to try it and see what happened. Um, I thought, well, it never hurts to try, just for the heck of it. So I signed up for it, and about a month or so later, I got a check in the mail delivered by FedEx, and there it was just a check, and the check was not from Budweiser, but it was from the Benton Law Firm in Dallas, Texas. And there was no instructions with it. There was nothing from Budweiser, but it was the same amount that the guy who was, I guess, impostoring being someone from Budweiser, it was the same amount for that check, right? So he sent it to me, and then I got an email from him as soon as that was delivered from FedEx. So I guess he had tracked it, and they said it's been delivered, and then immediately I got an email from him. So I thought, okay, I knew something was up. I knew something, I knew it wasn't right, but I thought I'm just going to see where this leads, right? Um, so I get the check, and he said that I need to either scan the check through my phone or um, put it in the ATM to deposit it. And I thought, okay, why not just give it to the teller, you know? And so I'm at this point, yeah, I kind of know. I know it's a scam, but I still wanted to see where it went, right? So I put it through the ATM, and I've never deposited checks through an ATM, but um, it was self-explanatory, and I did it. And then the email that I got from the Budweiser guy said, "Well, you need to withdraw." Um, this was the next day after 24 hours. He said he gave me a check for $1,950. He said, you keep the $400 and then you give the rest of that money to the decal place, and they're going to come out and put decals on your car. Well, I'm just playing along at this point, um, knowing, okay. So um, I took the money. He wanted me to take out $1,550. So I took it out, and then he wanted me to send the money via Western Union to the decal place. Okay. So yeah, I know it's a scam, right? But the thing is that I thought, well, gosh, why would the bank cash that check? You know what I'm saying? So even after 24 hours, I thought, well, the bank, must have gotten their money, right? So I had $1,550 in cash on me, and the guy from Budweiser is telling me to go to Western Union to give the money, send the money to the decal place. Well, so at that point, I'm not going to do that. But so I called the FBI and I told them, that about the scam and what was going on. But here's, I don't, I have a problem with not only the scammer, but with the FBI, because the FBI says to me, I'm like, can you track down where the scammer was coming from? And they're like, no, we can't. Now, the FBI, we pay tax money for services in our government, such as the FBI to protect us from scammers, such as, you know, um, just, to protect us, right? Well, let me tell you, the FBI are full of shit. In my opinion, they're scammers as well. But I said, so you mean to tell me that you can't track down this guy? You can track down a terrorist, you can track down, any other person, but you can't track down a scammer. Here's all the information. This is where the email's coming from, blah, blah, blah. I mean, give me a break. So, yeah, now I have an issue with the scammer and with the FBI. So the FBI told me, well, go to the police and file a report if you're not happy with us. So I said, okay. I mean, by now I'm just playing along with everyone. So I go to the police and I file a report, but they're not helpful. I mean, what I'm trying to say to you is that everyone's a scammer. The scammer himself, the FBI, the police. So I go to file the police report, and they're like, they were not helpful at all. They were just like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Well, that's government for you folks. They passed the buck. The FBI said go to the police. I've been through this before. I've been scammed before. I get it, It's pass the buck, pass the buck, pass the buck. So I just wanted to file a police report, just, to say. Now, in the meantime, I got the check on Monday, which I don't even remember the date, the end of November. And then Tuesday, I cashed the check, or I pulled out $1,550 of the $1,950. Okay, so that kept $400 in my bank account, and then I had $1,550 in cash. So the guy, the scammer from Budweiser, he said, he was freaking out, and he's like, why haven't you sent the money via Western Union? I'm like, I was like, just chill. Okay, so it keeps cutting it in and out. But anyway, so here's the deal. So, I said, he's like yelling at me in his very, I don't know what kind of accent it was, but very heavy accent from somewhere. And he's yelling at me, I have your address, I have your home address, trying to put fear in me. And so I said, well, I'm going to investigate this. I'm not sending money anywhere until I know you're legitimate. So this was Tuesday. And so I said, I'm going to investigate this. I will get back with you after I've heard back from my bank that the check you sent me has cleared. So I held on to that $1,550, right? And then I go and go about my business. This was Tuesday. After I had been to the police department, I tried to file a report, but they're just like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. Just go back to your bank and tell them um, or ask them, you think that this is a fraudulent check, and have them, kind of put a rush order on it. Well, something told me not to do that, because my antenna went up and my red flags went up to the bank too, because at that point I was thinking, I wonder if the bank is I felt like if I brought this to the attention of the bank, something in me, my intuition said, I feel like they're in on it. Like, for instance, if I brought this to their attention, they'd say, "Oh yeah, if you're concerned that this is a fraudulent check, then they're going to tell me yes it is and give the money back, and blah blah blah." But I just wanted it to just I just wanted to see if the check actually went through. So I looked up, and it said it took 3 to 5 business days for a check to actually go through, right? All right, so here's my problem with the banks. Now, I have a problem with FBI because in this day and age, with all the technology they have, they can't track down a scammer, yet they can track down a terrorist. They are full of shit. The police department, same thing, okay? They're full of shit. The banks, if you can't get a check and know immediately if it's bad or if it's good, with this day and age, with the technology we have, it takes a phone call, it takes a couple strokes of the buttons on a computer. Sorry, something's not right with the banks. Anyway, so I let it go. So Wednesday goes by, Thursday goes by, and then I thought, well, I wonder if this check, if they're just not going to say anything and let it go. So Friday comes, Friday morning, around 10:40 in the morning, and I get a call from the bank. And expecting their call, um, but this is what happened. So told me that the check had come back and it had bounced, right? So, okay, so I pretty much knew. So I held on to that money. Um, so she said that you owe us $1,950, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, I'll bring it in this afternoon. I said, are there any fees that I have to, I mean, like, am I in trouble for cashing this check? I mean, because I didn't know if it was going to bounce or not. And she, she wouldn't say anything. She did not say to me, yes, there's a fee, or no, there isn't. So, okay, so I got the money and I put it back in my bank account. But I called her before I did that again. And I called her and I said, is there going to be a fee? Because if I put this money back in my account and I didn't have that fee amount on top of the money I put back in the bank, then they're going to charge me again on top of that for not having the money in the bank. You see what I'm saying? So she said, "Oh yes, there's going to be." Well, first she told me $12 fee, and then she told me it was $15. Okay, so then I said, "Well, I said I don't think that's right that you charge me for $15 when it wasn't my fault that it's right." I argued with her back and forth, and she's like, "Well, we have so many frauds, just thousands of them a day, just hundreds of scams a day like this. So somebody's got to pay for a fraud department." Well, okay, here's what I think on that. I mean, because if you don't know already, the Federal Reserve, it, it's not even federal. A private corporation owned by the Rothschilds, okay, who are the biggest criminals in the world. They are mafia, okay? They are organized crime. They should not even be placed on our land. It's much less in the federal position. I mean, we as a people, we've got to stand up and we got to kick the Federal Reserve out of America. They have to be gone because they should not be part of our federal, program. Anyway, getting off track. So here's what I think's going on. I followed the money trail, and the money trail is who's making money. Okay, who is making the money? The banks are making the money because every time we get scammed, okay, we have to, and let's say I had spent the money, right? Let's say I had spent that, all that money, then I would have had to take money out of, say, my savings to pay the bank back, and on top of that, a fee. Okay. Luckily, I didn't spend the money, but I still had to pay a fee. So let's say there's hundreds of thousands of scams going on a day. Then $15 times 100,000 is whatever. So, um, so the banks are making money off the scammers. So I think it is the banks, okay? And they're so compartmentalized, okay, right? There's a fraud section, there's this section, there's a mortgage section, on and on and on. The fraud section, and the lady told me, well, we have to charge a processing fee because to pay for the fraud department. Well, no, the fraud department, you have to have a criminal mind to, um, you know, work in the fraud department. So the point is that I feel like the banks came up with all these scammers, okay, and they're putting it out there, and they're um, preying on elderly people. They know that the elderly people, have bank accounts and their savings. And like I talked to one of the bank people, and they're like, oh yeah, one of the, I felt so sorry for this guy because he got scammed, and then he we had to take $10,000 out of his savings to pay back. So I want the banks to be audited because I feel like they are paying these scammers pennies on the dollar to send out these emails and to get people hooked in. Oh, you can make 400 a week just by putting decals on your car. So I feel like the banks are involved. Yes, I do. Now, who's to say I'm wrong? That's what my gut instinct says. I feel like the banks are involved because if you follow the money trail, the banks are making money on these scammers. And I feel like the banks are the ultimate scammers. Not to mention the FBI. And let's get back to that for a minute. Why do we even have the FBI if they're not going to protect us? If they don't have the technology to track down these scammers? See what I'm saying? They're full of shit. Every single government agency is full of shit. Every single government agency is, they're a facade. They're this illusion for this organized crime. And let's even talk about the Pentagon. The Pentagon, first of all, Pentagon and pentagram, they sound very much alike, don't they? We're run by satanic cult of Nazi satanic people. We are. I believe that our government was infiltrated And I believe that we need to stand up to that and kick them the fuck out of our country. Okay? Because nobody's going to come to save us. So the president is he's not going to save us. Congress isn't going to save us. Your elected officials that you go and vote for, they're not going to save us. Okay? This is just, the hierarchy is too far up there. Anyway, so we need to stand up. I demand that the banks be audited because I think they're full of shit. Follow the money trail. Who's making the money off the scammers? Big time money. It's the banks. It all comes back to the banks. So my call is out to all of you, everyone, to we need to start standing up to the banks, and we need to say no to paying their fees. I think that your money is safer under the mattress. I think we should go back to the cash system because then they can't track us and profile us with every single thing we buy from our credit card. And, I do. I believe that our money is safer under the mattress. And then we can keep track, and they can't. Um, so I just wanted to tell you that experience I went through. I know there's a lot of people that do get scammed, and I was aware, so I didn't lose out of anything but the $15. But still, even the $15, if you know, if everybody catches on, and pays that $15, that's still a lot of money. But even for the ones that don't, that have to pay back out of their own pocket, I just think it's wrong. It's wrong. So, guys, let's stand up. Let's get organized ourselves, and or just even call them out on an individual basis. So, all right, that's my rant. That's my experience. Watch yourself, because scammers, they're all around you, including the bank, the FBI, the police. I mean, they're not there to protect you. They're really not. Anyway, all right, peace out, guys. Until next time with my next rant, or observation. Talk to you guys later. Bye.